The Marshall Plan. America's Reconstruction strategy after World War II. After the end of World War II in 1945, Europe was in a state of complete devastation. Infrastructure was damaged, economies were in collapse, and unemployment rates were high. There were concerns about the spread of communism in the face of difficult economic conditions. The Marshall Plan, also known as the European Recovery Program, is an economic initiative launched after World War II in 1948. It was named after U.S. Secretary of State George Marshall, who was one of its main architects. The plan aimed to provide substantial financial aid to European countries affected by the war to enhance reconstruction and stimulate economic growth. The value of the aid was approximately $13 billion, equivalent to about $150 billion today. Objectives of the Marshall Plan: rebuilding the European economy. It helped restore infrastructure and key economic sectors. Enhancing political stability. By improving living conditions, the likelihood of extreme political systems emerging was reduced. Countering communism. The plan was part of the U.S. strategy to counter Soviet influence in Europe. Results. The plan led to significant economic recovery in the beneficiary countries. It contributed to strengthening cooperation among European countries and the establishment of institutions like the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. It played a role in the later establishment of the European Union. The Marshall Plan is considered one of the most important economic programs in modern history, with significant impacts on international relations and economic growth. Launch of the plan. Launch date. The Marshall Plan was announced on June 5, 1947. Official name: the European Recovery Program, ERP. Main architect: George Marshall, the U.S. Secretary of State, who called for European aid in a famous speech. Main goals: reconstruction, rebuilding the damaged infrastructure in European countries. Stimulating economic growth, providing the necessary funding to stimulate production and trade. Political stability, improving economic conditions to reduce the likelihood of communist regimes emerging. Enhancing European cooperation, encouraging cooperation among European countries. Details of the aid. Value of aid: approximately $13 billion, equivalent to $150 billion today. Beneficiary countries included 16 European countries such as United Kingdom, about $3.3 billion France, about $2.7 billion West Germany, about $1.4 billion Italy, about $1.5 billion Belgium, about $800 million Netherlands, about $1.1 billion Austria, about $500 million Denmark, about $400 million Greece, about $300 million Norway, about $0.3 billion Switzerland, about $0.3 billion Ireland, about $0.1 billion Luxembourg, about $0.1 billion. The figures are approximate and may vary based on sources. The aid was provided in the form of loans and grants, which helped beneficiary countries enhance their productive capacity and achieve rapid economic growth. The Organization for European Economic Cooperation, OEEC, was established to coordinate the distribution of aid. Specific plans were put in place for each country, outlining how the funds would be used. Results. By the mid-1950s, the beneficiary countries had achieved significant economic growth. Living standards rose, and unemployment rates fell. It contributed to strengthening relations among European countries and led to the establishment of international institutions like the OECD. It helped contain the communist tide in Western Europe. The Marshall Plan laid the groundwork for a more cooperative global economic system. It played a significant role in the establishment of the European Union. The Marshall Plan is considered a successful example of government intervention in the economy, playing a crucial role in rebuilding Europe after the war. It continues to be studied in economic and political contexts as one of the most prominent aid initiatives in modern history. U.S. gains from the Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan yielded several gains for the United States, including it helped solidify U.S. influence in Western Europe, weakening the impact of the Soviet Union and communism. It contributed to rebuilding the economies of U.S. allies, leading to political and economic stability in the region. With the recovery of the European economy, the U.S. gained new markets for its exports, contributing to U.S. economic growth. The plan established a foundation for new international institutions like the OECD, enhancing cooperation among nations. It strengthened U.S. relations with European countries, contributing to the establishment of NATO in 1949. The aid encouraged U.S. investments in Europe, improving infrastructure and increasing productivity. The plan projected a positive image of the U.S. as a supporter of freedom and democracy, helping to enhance its position as a global power. By supporting the stability of European countries, the plan helped reinforce U.S. national security and reduce risks from regional tensions. These gains are part of the broader U.S. strategy to address the political and economic challenges faced after World War II. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. See you in more stories.